What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Before we get started, I think that you should subscribe because I'm gonna be doing a giveaway at 2,000 subscribers, and I might just be doing another one when I hit 1,500 just to show all of my love and appreciation for you. Today's video is a little bit different than what I normally do, and it might surprise some of you. Probably a lot of you, mostly my friends and family. I've been wondering if I should really do this for a while now, but I was like, F it. It's kind of a funny story. And let me start by saying I've never actually smoked weed myself. So the title might be confusing you at this point. My boyfriend does smoke, and there have been times when I have really bad cramps or a horrible migraine and he's told me to try it. I've heard a lot of great things about marijuana, so I was like, maybe. It took me a really long time to be comfortable with it and to actually give in to trying it. When I say trying it, I didn't smoke on my own. I took a shotgun hit. I just hit myself in the nose from my boyfriend. So he inhales the smoke and then blows it into my mouth. It's not supposed to really affect you that much when you do that, so that's why I don't understand what happened to me or why. I had done this a few times recently with him. Usually it's just one hit or whatever and it's not a big deal. I barely felt anything. It just pretty much took my pain away or made it better. There was one time 1 or 2 months ago when I did this with him and I did feel tingly, kind of like when your hand falls asleep and you feel that buzzing feeling, but that was it. That's the extent of what I felt up until this point when this crazy thing happened. I had horrible cramps one night, literally in tears because it hurt so bad. So Grayson was like, hey, why don't you just take a hit? It should help you and then you can sleep. They're really horrible sometimes to the point where I can't sleep at night, so he just really wanted to help me out. So he took a hit and then I shotgunned from him. We waited maybe 2-3 minutes or something and then he was like, maybe just try one more. So I did. So just 2, not me smoking on my own, so I don't know what happened. This is so mind-boggling to me. So many people are gonna laugh at me or think that I'm making this up, but I don't really care. I'm like, okay, 2, I'm done. I don't want any more. I didn't even really feel anything at this point. I was just exhausted. I wanted to go to bed. I'm not a smoker, so it doesn't really interest me to smoke. I just wanted to see what would help me. It's not like I have good or bad feelings towards it. It's just kind of indifferent. But if it's gonna help me, then I'm all for it. I get hungry every 5 minutes, and at this point, I was hungry. I just randomly got hungry. This always seems to happen to me right before I'm ready for bed too. I'll brush my teeth, I'm fine, I'm not hungry, and then I lay in bed, and then all of a sudden I'm hungry. I'm trying my best to remember exactly how it happened, which is very difficult for me because it's kind of a blur. We're laying there, and I think we started eating a Nutri-Grain bar or something like that, but I wanted something else, so he offered to go downstairs and get Cheetos for me, and I love Cheetos, so I was like, yeah! So he went downstairs. I laid my head down because I was tired. I decided just to close my eyes and rest until he got back up. I don't know if I had fallen asleep or what, but it felt like I did. I just remember that I woke up at this point, and this is the part that's most a blur to me. I sat up because something felt really weird to me, and then all of a sudden it was like I was in a dream that just kept repeating itself every single second. So I felt like I would wake up and then I realized that I woke up and then I realized it again and then again and again, and it just kept repeating itself. It was like some kind of weird inception thing that was happening. So I went to the foot of the bed at this point, which is right by the door. I opened the door and I yelled for him because I was freaked out at what was happening to me. I didn't think that weed could do this to me, especially when it was just through shotgun. So at this point I was like, what is this? I was trying to go downstairs to get him, but it felt like my body wouldn't work. But all of a sudden it was working. I felt like I wouldn't be able to do things, but then I realized that I had already done it. It's like my thought process was happening after my body was already doing things. So somehow I ended up at the foot of the bed, and then I realized, oh, I need to go to the foot of the bed. It was backwards in my head. It was so weird. And so finally, after I called for him, he didn't hear me, but he came back up because he was just grabbing the Cheetos, and he found me hysterical, crying, and I was like, something's wrong with me, something is happening to me, and he's like, what are you talking about? And he kept saying this stuff to me, and it wasn't really registering in my head. It's really hard for me to remember this point of it. My whole body had this really intense buzzing feeling from it, like I was saying earlier when your hand falls asleep. Through my whole body. I could hear the blood rushing through my whole body. I was trying to explain to him that I was feeling this dream feeling and that everything kept happening over and over and over and over and over again, and he was like, what are you talking about? It's not making sense. Nothing that I said could help him understand what I was feeling. And then he thought, okay, maybe she's just paranoid because she smoked. The thing is, I wasn't worried about what I would feel like after I had smoked, because I had done this before with him, and it's not like I had smoked on my own, so I didn't think that something like this could happen. And it's not like we did it a lot either. So that paranoid part didn't come from me being worried about it. I don't know what happened. I literally was falling asleep and then I just woke up and had this intense feeling. This just kept going on at the foot of the bed for what felt like an hour at least. But then I asked him how long he had been up there since he went to get the Cheetos, and he told me that he had been up there maybe 3 minutes. This freaked me out. I had no concept of time. I thought that it had been way longer. I was losing my mind completely. At this point, I had to pee. It didn't really feel like the normal pee feeling. It just felt like pressure or something, so I asked him to walk me to the bathroom. I'm shaking uncontrollably. I couldn't help it. I was freezing cold. He walked me to the bathroom. I couldn't pee. Like, nothing was coming out. I just felt like I couldn't do anything, so even though I could walk and stuff, I didn't know how I was doing it. He was holding me up and trying to help me, and it was just not working, so we went back into the room. I don't know what happened for the next couple minutes, but I know eventually I ended up in bed. He told me that I should lay down and try and sleep. So I tried to, but I didn't want the lights off in the room because every time that I couldn't focus on something, this dream feeling got more intense. It was almost like everything was spinning, but then it would start over spinning again, so it wasn't like making a full circle. It was like I sound so stupid. I couldn't feel anything normal in my body. He was asking me if I felt like I was gonna throw up. I was like, no, but I don't really feel anything, so I don't know if I will. You know, all of a sudden I feel this pressure and I kept having to pee over and over and over again, but I didn't feel the normal pee feeling, so I don't know. And so he kept trying to get me to look in his eyes and just focus on him and calm down and relax. I was shaking so bad I couldn't warm up. I had so many blankets on top of me. Nothing was helping, and I was literally, I felt like I was like this, but I'd look at my hand and it looked like it wasn't moving at all. So I don't know if I was shaking or if I wasn't. I know that I was shaking at one point because he told me for a long time that I was. But after that had calmed down and he stopped saying that, I still felt like I was shaking, and that's when I noticed that my hand looked like it wasn't moving. How do I explain this? So we continue to just lay down. He's eating his Cheetos. I want nothing to do with any food. I was worried that if I did eat or something, I would throw up. Even though I didn't feel sick, I didn't know what was going on with my body. He kept trying to get me to look at him, and I was afraid that if I looked at him and I didn't know I was gonna throw up or something, that I would barf all over him, and I didn't want that to happen, so I wasn't looking at him. He was trying so hard, and I feel bad because I started getting kind of, not irritated with him, but I feel like the way that I was so nervous about what was going on with me, it could have sounded like I was mad at him, and I remember apologizing, and I was like, I'm just so worried, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with me, tell me if I'm gonna be okay. Like, all these things kept happening. I really don't know how long this happened for, but probably halfway through it, I was like, okay, I need you to call 911 or something. Something bad is happening to me. I literally thought I was gonna die. That's how paranoid I was. I thought that I was gonna die, and I was thinking of my mom and my sisters and everyone, like how upset that they would be. This sounds so dumb that I was this paranoid, but I didn't think it was from weed, so I thought that it was just, I don't know. He had told me too, weed doesn't do this to people. What's happening to you, I don't know. I don't know what it is, so I can't tell you what's gonna happen, but I think you're fine. Like, you're just laying there. I just looked like my eyes were really wide because I was so paranoid about everything. But aside from that and me shaking and all that stuff, he said that I looked normal. So I was like, okay, great. Well, if you don't think it's from the weed, then obviously I need to go to the hospital. And he's like, babe, what are we going to tell them? They're literally going to laugh at you if you say that you smoked weed and then this happened. So I was like, well, what the hell do I do? You just said that it wasn't from weed. So if it's not from weed, then why shouldn't I go? My family and friends know how hard it is for me to go to the doctor. One, I don't have health insurance right now, so it would be ridiculously expensive. But the main reason is I have some kind of vagal response thing that makes my nervous system shut down. I hate getting my blood drawn. I hate getting shots, any of that stuff. I don't know why. It's just medical related. I can get piercings and it doesn't really bother me that much. But if it's like a shot or something, for some reason, something just doesn't feel right in my body and I just like shut down and I pass out. This has happened many times to me. That being said, that shows how paranoid I was and how worried I was that I was going to possibly die. It was the middle of the night and I felt really bad for keeping him up. I was just like, just turn the lights off. I just feel bad. I want you to be able to sleep. So he's like, okay, just wake me up if anything happens, if you need me, blah, blah, blah. He goes to sleep. It felt like it was at least 2 to 3 hours that I was just laying there paranoid, peeing every 5 minutes. So my poor boyfriend still couldn't sleep because I kept getting up to pee every few minutes. He had told me that if by any chance it was the weed that was causing me to feel this way, that it would wear off, and it would wear off pretty quickly. So I just kept that in mind because literally I had nothing else. So I just kept praying and telling myself, it's the weed, don't worry. Your body is just kind of freaking out right now because it's not used to this feeling. Just relax. There's nothing else that it could be. Just try and relax. Even though I couldn't focus on anything because it was pitch black in the room, I just kept taking deep breaths because my heart was literally pounding like this. It was so fast. Okay, maybe not that fast, but that's what it felt like to me, so I don't know. I can't tell you exactly everything, how it happened, because I don't know. My senses of everything, it just felt like I was on overload. It started to get better after what I think was a couple hours. That started really making me feel a lot more relaxed about it. Tried to fall asleep. Eventually I did. I woke up the next morning and I still felt a little bit weird the whole next day. Like it would come and go at times. I don't know why. Like I don't know why my body was reacting this way with it. I've actually tried it one more time since then and I got a little tingly, but nothing happened like that. So yeah guys, that's my story. Sorry that I was horrible at telling it. It's very hard to tell you something when I was like in a whole other world. Obviously I've been like in a zone this whole video trying to get back into that mental state so that I can remember and try and tell you as best as possible what I remember happening. So sorry for the weirdness of that part of this video. I've talked to a few people about this and they've told me that they've experienced similar things. It just made me feel a little bit better about it because I know that it can really help people with health problems or, you know, pain, that kind of stuff. So even though I don't want to just like smoke for fun or whatever, it's good to know that if I need it for pain, I can have that because Bay over there will help me with that. He's on the other side of this wall. Now I can laugh at it and I can feel a little bit better if that feeling happens to me again because I know that it'll go away. But I'm still a little bit paranoid, to be honest. Thank you guys so much for watching my video today. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. Check out my other social medias listed below and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
What you did to me,